All right, yesterday we talked about solving inequalities using addition and subtraction. Today we're actually going to look at solving inequalities using multiplication and division. Now before we go into exactly how to do this, we're going to do a little experiment. All right, so it says explore what happens when we divide each side of an inequality by a number. And we start with 6 is less than 12, which we know is a true statement. Now, if we were to take each side of that statement and divide it by 3, our, our inequality sign would stay the same because we would have 6 divided by 3, which is 2, and 12 divided by 3, which is 4. All right. Now, if we move down the scale, we have 6 divided by 2. That would be 3. And 12 divided by 2 is 6. So our sign would remain again the same. Okay, go a step further down. Well, we know that 6 divided by 1 is just going to be 6, and 12 divided by 1 is again going to be 12. All right, so our signs have not changed direction. All right, now watch what happens now. We have 6 divided by negative 1. 6 divided by negative 1 is negative 6, and 12 divided by negative 1 is negative 12. So all of a sudden, our sign changes. All right? Same here. We have 6 divided by negative 2, which is negative 3, and 12 divided by negative 2, which is negative 6. So our sign again is changed. And last but not least, we have 6 divided by negative 3 and 12 divided by negative 3. All right, and that means again that this is going to be larger because it's less negative. Now you can see there is a definite division of where this is happening between the positives and between dividing by the negatives. So what does this all mean? Basically what it's saying is when you're solving inequalities with by multiplying and dividing and you have negative numbers, there are actually some properties and some rules we need to follow. So multiplication and division properties of inequality. So if you multiply or divide each side of an inequality by a positive number, you leave the inequality symbol unchanged. All right? If you multiply or divide each side of an inequality by a negative number, however, you have to reverse the inequality symbol. All right, and I'll show you what I mean in this example. So I have t divided by negative 4 is greater than or equal to 7. Well, when we solve inequalities with multiplication and division, we are going to solve them just like we would with equations. So to get rid of that negative 4, to get that t alone, we're going to multiply each side by negative 4. Now, because I am multiplying by a negative number, because the negative number is with my variable, I am going to have to change the sign. So I'm going to have t on this side, but instead of greater than or equal to, it's going to be less than or equal to. And 7 times negative 4 is negative 28. All right, so as you can see, my sign changed from here to here. It just changed directions. All right. All right, so in our next example, we have 8 is greater than or equal to negative 4x. So in this case, we're going to divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4. Oh, my number with my variable is negative, so I automatically know my symbol is going to change. I'm left with x on this side, and 8 divided by negative 4 is negative 2. And if we want to rewrite that with x out in front, we can write x is greater than or equal to negative 2. Okay. All right, and our last example um, is negative 3x is less than 12. Going to solve it. You all seem to be pros at solving equations, so I'm not going to dwell on that. So we have x. Well, we know we divided by a negative number, so I'm going to Change the sign, and 12 divided by negative 3 is negative 4. Now, some of you may be asking, what if it was 3x is greater than or equal, or greater than, or is, excuse me, less than negative 12? Okay, in this case, because this number right here is not negative, it is positive, you do not have to switch the sign. So in this case, our equation would stay x is less than negative 4. Okay? All right. That's all I have about solving inequalities with multiplication or division. Remember to think about when you're going to need to change the sign and when you don't need to. All right? We'll be practicing it a lot tomorrow.